Welcome to another episode of Dutch Guy's Garage. On this episode, we're going to be working on a Roadrunner.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. Life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret.
What do you say we get thrown out of an Applebee's?
So, some of you can see, there's a Roadrunner over there, but not your typical Roadrunner. This is my Roadrunner. As with anything I own, it's not typical. This is a 1993 Plymouth Sundance that's been heavily modified. Fun fact, I have owned it for I think 7, maybe 8 years now. It's been a long time. And it is also the same age as me. It was born on my birthday the same year I was born. And, little known fact, it has the same name as me. This is a 1993 Plymouth Duster. So, it's not your average Sundance. It's, well, it's special. Let's take a gander at it. So, as you can see, it's not your typical color. Yes, that is Hemi Orange. And no, those are not factory stripes. But those are like one of them mid-70s Roadrunner stripes applied to a Sundance because they fit backwards. And yes, that is a pistol grip shifter because it's a stick. And that's what you have in a Roadrunner. And going over the front, we have a V6. Because the 2.2 turbos I was not a big fan of in these years. And then the funnest part is, we have the doll over here. It's got this weird hood scoop that goes up with vacuum. So anyways, we have been informed through our local racing group that we're a part of that since it's cold in Michigan, unlike the last couple of years, they are bringing back ice racing. Yes, ice racing. That's something us Northerners do normally when we have snow and, well, therefore ice. And we have not had good snow or ice the last 3 years. But I seen an announcement the other day that we're going to have enough ice to go ice racing this year. So, being this is our normal autocross road racing group, you know, normally we would take the Super Coupe or next year the new race car. But I don't drive my Aspens in the snow. I normally don't drive my Roadrunner in the snow either, but we're going to trailer it there so it's not going to see all of the road salt. And we'll wash it when we get home. But I used to drive Shadows and Sundances a long time ago in the snow, and I know how they handle. Power to weight ratio is absolutely excellent. So, we are going to go snow racing in our Roadrunner. Because why not? But this thing sat for about 3 years because, you know, obligations and priorities and cars that go, you know. So, it's time to relive the Sundance fantasy. So, let's talk about what's wrong with it. So, this car, since it sat, we picked up some issues. We are not getting any signal to our starter. And I went down, I seen the starter terminals were heavily corroded. And if we go over to our starter, well, some of our starter has decided to yeet itself off. But that's fine. They clean up terminals and yada yada. and did a bench test. It's not the happiest starter in the world, but a new starter for this car is like $164. You believe that stuff? You guys used to drive these cars back in the day. That starter used to be about $55, and now it's expensive. So we did put a new one on there, and it wouldn't start. So we started diving into the steering column, which I did earlier, and we gutted that whole thing. We've confirmed our ignition switch has full functionality, probed all that stuff. So then we circle back, and this car originally was an automatic, so this car has been swapped to a manual, and with questionable wiring, which we're going to fix. Procrastination at its finest. You know, the squirrel brain, if things work, you leave them alone. Well, we're going to fix this because previous owners, they put wire nuts in places. Well, for anybody that knows anything about K cars and P-bodies, as these are called, all these relays down here, I think there's 3 here. Yep, 3 here that are supposed to be mounted to the body. And then you have your 2 back here. So you got, it is fan control, and then starter relay, and then fuel pump, and then your auto shutdown, and I think the last one's AC control. I could have that mixed up, but anyways, I know this one, that's our starter relay. And power probing around, we found out, well, the ground had a severe voltage drop. It was not doing ground things. Well, it turns out that ground is under the battery holder, or what do you call it, battery tray. So there was already a hole here. So we rigged up a temporary ground just to see if we make things work. And got to the point, this is about 30 minutes ago, where the starter would shoot the Bendix out, but it wouldn't catch the flywheel. So we tried shimming it, which you're not supposed to have to shim Chryslers because they don't identify as a GM product. We tried shimming it this way, we tried removing shims, and we got partial engagement, and it was just an unhappy starter. I'll come to find out, a younger Dutch flogged the ever-living crud out of this car, and we had an epiphany after inviting over our neighbor Guy Columbi. Yes, that's right, Guy Columbi. It's not his real name, but he likes K cars, so you got to call the guy that likes K cars Guy Columbi, because that just makes sense. That's old Facebook, if you guys aren't aware. But so we called him over, and he's like, "Have you tried turning the motor over?" I was like, "Well, yeah, you know, you can push start the car. The push start's fine." He's like, "No, you actually try turning the motor over." So I went down there, and this is a 3.0. 3.0 is the pinnacle of Chrysler engineering in terms of serviceability. For those of you that have never worked on one, you're missing out. This is the easiest car to work on. You can change the oil right there and right there, and you don't have to jack up the car. You can change the starter, which is right there, well, right there, without having to jack up the car. It's easy. It's very easy. The crank pulley, if you look through the tire, it's staring you right in the teeth. So we went down and we took it's a 22 millimeter socket. We spun her over. She spins fine. So we already confirmed, you know, looked at the timing belt, because timing belts like to go out on this car because it's a 3.0. She's got all the torque horses. And spun it over, and as it turns out, there's a bad spot in the flywheel. And now this thing, because it's a 3.0, it's reliable. It hasn't started in quite a few years. But you can wander over the key. Oh yeah. Now, you did see the engine dance around a little. That's because I don't have the front motor mount in, so she'll just party. But yeah, we got to do that. Got to put that front motor mount in. We did order a bunch of parts for this car, which we're going to be working on this weekend. So we're probably going to put out another episode on this, because this car's awesome. It's just awesome. So we're going to be going through and just doing a bunch of rehab work to get this thing ready, and then we're going to take it snow racing, because that's awesome. So yeah. So yeah, that's a little intro on what we call the Shadow Runner, and we are bringing it back from not the dead, but from lack of use. So see you guys in the next one. We'll be back with more Shadow Runner content and more Aspen wide body content, and who knows what else we'll come up with. So this is Dutch Guy's Garage. Always remember, they don't move until you do.